So once again, good morning, boys. As we have been discussing the sample paper for term 1, as we discussed, there are 3 sections in the question paper of MCQ. Section A we discussed yesterday. One statement will be given and you have got alternatives A, B, C, D. And the best way to arrive at a conclusion is ruling out the wrong ones. You keep on taking out the wrong ones. Then you get the right one. You arrive at the right one. Now section B is a little bit, what we call logical type. It's not difficult. I don't say it's difficult, but it is logical type. Whereas section A is memory based. You just listen to the teacher, you read once the entire textbook, solve some questions, based on your memory you can answer. But section B you need to have logic. First thing you have to understand the concept. After having understood the concept, now apply the reasoning and logic. Then you will come to know. Okay? And don't be in a hurry to do it. But at the same time, remember you are having only 90 minutes. Isn't it? In 90 minutes, Sandeep, 50 questions. So 90 by 50, Prasad. How much, Prasad? 1.8 minutes. Correct? 1 minute, 50 seconds. So according to Prasad, it is 110 seconds per question. So in 110 seconds, Prasad has to read the question, read the alternatives, start thinking, arrive at a conclusion. This should be in 110 seconds. And I would prefer that Prasad will leave 10 seconds for every question, so that any question that is left out, difficult, Prasad has left it, he can come back to that question because he has spared 10 seconds for every question. So 50 questions, 50 into 10, that much time is there for Prasad to revise the paper. So target Sandeep 100, one question, 100 seconds. So keeping that time factor in our mind, let us go to section B, question number 25. What is that? Assertion A. R type of pneumococcus, don't say pneumococcus, is non-virulent. The moment we said R type, rough and smooth, isn't it? Pneumococcus, bacteria that causes pneumonia. I think Sandeep is getting rats in his mind. Okay. Reason, R type of pneumococcus can be virulent by having transformation with S type of pneumococcus. Transforming principle. Remember what Kadkol is telling? Who has done this, Kadkol? This experiment? Frederick Griffiths. Yeah, very good. So let's see the alternatives that he is giving. A. Both A and R are true. A for assertion, R for reasoning. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Just see if the statement tallies with that. Option B. Both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Sandeep is telling B is the answer. Is it correct, Kadkol? Why R is not the correct explanation?
Because if R type will produce a rough outer surface, it's non-virulent.
Yeah. Yes. So I think Kadkol has arrived at the answer. B is the correct answer. Because transformation means change in the gene constitution, and by picking up genes present in the environment, isn't it? So pneumococcus has 2 strains as we discussed. One is the S strain, which is virulent. Another is the R strain, non-virulent. The virulent strain, as we discussed, that is S strain, causes disease called pneumonia, lung disease, isn't it? So R type bacteria form irregular or rough colonies and did not produce any disease, while the S type bacteria causes the disease, lung disease, pneumonia, and that leads to death of the mice. And what is the experiment that you should remember? Frederick Griffiths experiment. Why? Right. Let me wait. Okay. Let me unlock. Yes. Okay. Now, I think we have cleared with that. Question number 25. Answer is B. Right. Next, we go to question number 26. Assertion. Hybrids are generally superior than their parents. That is the statement, assertion. Reason. All the dominant traits are present in the hybrid. Now see options. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not correct explanation of A. C. Now let us see C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Yes, Rakesh? Option C. A is true but R is false, because since in hybrids probability of dominant traits to come together increases. They are generally better than the parents, but this is not always true, isn't it? All dominant traits come in the hybrids. That is not true. That's why reason that all dominant traits are present in the hybrid is wrong. So Rakesh says for question number 26, C is the answer. Now let's go to 27. A typical microsporangium of angiosperms is generally surrounded by 4 wall layers. This is the statement A. Statement R. The outer 3 wall layers perform the function of protection and help in dehiscence of anther to release the pollen. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Both A and R are true. I think both are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Yes, that should be the answer, because a typical microsporangium consists of 2 parts, as we all know, outer wall and sporogenous tissue. So microsporangial wall has 4 types of layers: epidermis, endothecium, middle layers and tapetum. So the outer 3 wall layers perform the function of protection, isn't it, in the young anther, and mechanism of dehiscence in the ripe anther. So I think question number 27, B is the answer. Next we move to 28. Man does not urinate and ejaculate at the same time. Reason. Membranous and penile part of urethra forms the outflow pathway for the urine and for the seminal fluid. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation of A. Yes, Prasad? I think this should be the answer. Yeah.
Option B.
Because A, man does not urinate and ejaculate at the same time. That is true. Similarly, membranous and penile part of the urethra forms the outflow. That is also correct. But reason is not explaining assertion. Correct? No? So we arrive at B. Right? Now we go to what is the explanation that he is giving. Urethra leads from urinary bladder through the prostate gland. and into the penis. It consists of four parts: urinary, prostatic, membranous and penile tissues. The urethra, membranous and penile part in the male forms the outflow pathway for the urine as well as seminal fluid. However, it is physically impossible for a man to urinate and ejaculate at the same time, because just prior to ejaculation, the internal, that sphincter muscle we were talking. Try to recollect the diagram, male reproductive system. Internal sphincter closes off the opening of the urinary bladder. So if one part is opened, other part is closed. So the sphincter does not relax until the ejaculation is completed. So the closing of this internal sphincter prevents urine from entering the urethra and also prevents the backflow of ejaculatory fluid into the urinary bladder. So here the clue for all of us is sphincter muscle. Correct? Yeah, someone was
one is controlled by parasympathetic nervous system.
that is yes. You are right. When we are talking only physiology. When you go we are talking of only anatomy. Physiology type we go, yes, it is controlled in turn by the parasympathetic and sympathetic. You are right. That also you can have it. Good. Question 29. All of the following occur during natural menopause. Menopause, except A. Progesterone levels in the blood decrease, estrogen levels in the blood decrease, FSH and LH levels in the blood decrease, number of ovarian follicles is reduced and eventually depleted. So I think all of us know that a graphical representation we have done, the FSH and LH levels during menopause. See, influence of hormones during MP. Try to recollect that graph. Gonadotropin secretion increases dramatically after menopause. So FSH levels are higher than the LH levels, and both rise to even higher values than those seen in the surge during MC. The FSH rise precedes the LH rise. That's why during the menses time, what happens? Both the hormones, FSH as well as the LH, luteinizing hormone levels, decrease in the blood. Okay. Question number 30. The phenomena of exchange of segments of chromosomes. Here see Prasad is telling segments of chromosome between paternal and maternal, yes, mother side. Chromosome is called recombination, segregation, crossing over and linkage. Of course, you know prophase 1. Clue is prophase 1. And in that I said 5 substages: leptotene, zygotene, pachytene, diplotene, diakinesis. All Adil Shah boys are there, no? Kadkol? See, I am also like Adil Shah boy. I have mugged up all the 5 substages. Because I was staying in Adil Shah's as a bachelor in the school during 84-85. Okay? So, there in the third stage, Kadkol, leptotene, zygotene, pachytene. Crossing over takes place, no? So, the clue is prophase 1. Now, come to question number 31. Very easy for Kadkol and others. Nucleoside. I said in the question only, answer is there. Spelling Nucleosi. I said N and S. N for nitrogenous base, S for sugar. NS is sugar or nitrogen base, sugar. Nucleotide, what is missing? Phosphate group. Add that, finish. So nucleoside differs from nucleotide. It lacks, what is it? Gollala Gowda, tell me. Gowda is there? Gowda is silent. Yes, Gautraya? Sandeep, wake him up, no? Woke up? Golal Gowda woke up? He is not there in the meeting. Why is he in the waiting list? No. All participants are there. Anurag, what is the answer?
Phosphate group.
Yeah, phosphate group. Okay. I think Golal Gowda was there. He has missed. Right. So the answer, Anurag, is phosphate group. Correct? As we explained. Now we come to 32. Estrus cycle. Again, this is Sandeep was asking some time back. Estrus cycle is found in A. Birds, B. Eagle, and Sandeep favorite non-primates, and D. Primates. So Sandeep knows the answer 2 months before only. Answer is C. Non-primates. So it occurs in non-primates such as cows and dogs. It consists of short period of that cycle, 12 to 24 hours. Okay, that is the time, estrus cycle. It is also called heat period. It is followed by anestrus or passive period, and blood does flow in this cycle. Okay, so these are the characteristics of estrus cycle, and that should be the difference between menstruous cycle and estrus cycle, primates and non-primates. Okay. Question 33, I think again our Kadakol's favorite. T.H. Morgan's experiment on Drosophila. Recollect Drosophila? Fruit fly. Like many times you cut an apple, just keep it in front of you, don't eat immediately. The next 2 minutes you can see small flies coming and start eating that. And Prasad will be feeling very bad. Yeah? Yes, Prasad? Okay, good. Even in banana, when you keep banana, there you can see in 2 minutes at the edge of the banana, small flies will be coming. So these are Drosophila. So what will be the result when F1 female flies are crossed with double recessive male flies? Now you need to calculate. F1 female obtained in cross with a double recessive male. What should be the percentage? Parental combination and recombination. I think you need to calculate. Prasad, when you calculate, you will come to know that answer is B. 83% parental combination and 17% recombination, means new formations. Okay? Recombinants. So 83 and 17. So after my class, you just calculate and confirm this. Why 83 and why 17? Okay, Prasad? Question 34. Human Genome Project, HGP, Anurag, was 13-year project coordinated by Baba Atomic Research Center India, US Department of Energy, and National Institute of Health, and Wellcome Trust, UK. What is that? All of us know. Yeah, it is a combination of ours and theirs. US Department of Energy and National Institute of Health. So the main focus was determining the DNA sequence of the entire human genome, and the target was 15 years, and already 13 years over. And a lot of things, I said almost 85% of the human genome is studied and photographed. So good work is going on. Maybe this being a good one may be extended also, so that we have the opportunity to study 100%, so that many of the problems that we are facing right now, maybe human genetic disorders, we have studied, all that can be cured through gene therapy. We have to arrive at a stage where through genes we should be off with the diseases. We should be healthy. Okay, right. And then you also know that if you Google it, you will come to know that along with these two, after some years, even the Wellcome Trust of UK joined that, and slowly it became a major partner now in the HGP. And that is the reason why I always tell Kadkol, if your target is medicine, you must go to UK. If your target is engineering, technology, US. But of course, Prasad knows his target is Pune Kadakwasla. Right? So question number 35. A dicotyledonous plant bears flowers but never produces fruits and seeds. So the most probable cause for the above situation is, Prasad doesn't like such plants, I know. Okay? Plant is dioecious and bears only staminate flowers. Plant is dioecious and bears both pistillate and staminate flowers. Plant is dioecious but bears only pistillate flowers. And plant is monoecious. Yes, Prasad? What should be that? Male flowers. Male flowers means staminate. Yeah, so plant may be dioecious and it bears male flowers, staminate flowers. So a dicot plant bearing flowers but never produces fruits and seeds. That's why Prasad will never grow such trees. Correct? Question number 36. The actual covering of testis is a dense, blush white fibrous connective tissue sheath called, of course, this is again based on what, Prasad? Memory. Yeah, what is the memory says? Prasad's memory, tunica albuginea. The covering of testis is blush white fibrous tissue sheath called tunica albuginea, and it protects the inside testis to form thick incomplete vertical column called mediastinum. Okay, just you remember that it is wait, somebody is waiting there. Oh, Harish is waiting. Okay, let me unlock the room. Okay, right. Now we move on to question number 37. A woman could still have menstrual periods after the surgical removal of ovaries, isn't it? Both the ovaries? Yeah, both the ovaries, one ovary only, one ovary and the uterus only. What is that? One ovary only. Because that surgical procedure to remove one or both ovaries, so removal of one ovary still allows the woman to continue to menstruate and to have children as long as that remaining ovary is not damaged. When both, as Sandeep says, when both ovaries are removed, then MP stops. No more MP for Sandeep. Woman can no longer become pregnant. So it has to be one ovary only. P is the answer, not both ovaries, Kadkol. Now 38. Which genetic disorder is removal of ovary is called oophorectomy. oophorectomy. Okay? Oophorectomy. Right. Now 38. I think Sandeep remembers this. 47. 44 autosomes plus XXY. Sandeep's favorite it is. What is that? Klinefelter's syndrome. Klinefelter's syndrome is a genetic disorder. Remember, anything that is called syndrome is abnormal. Right? Already I told you. So it's a genetic disorder that has overall masculine development due to the presence of one extra chromosome. Extra XX chromosome is there, no? But what happens, Sandeep? Bad luck. They are sterile. They cannot reproduce.
Sir, how does it affect, sir?
Sterile. that person, because basically Y chromosome is present, means he is a male, right? But one extra chromosome is there. Because of that, the male will be very, very muscular. No, the WWF type. Rakesh. Vallal is not able to join. Why? What happened? That app is telling, okay, no problem. I will put the video anyhow, let him see, right? So basically, it is Y, presence of Y makes this individual, this syndrome as male appearing. But then there is extra X chromosome. And that extra X chromosome will make him to have masculine development, a lot of muscles. Okay, he looks like a WWF. But what is the problem, Sandeep? Sterile. That is the problem, right? Question number 39. While analyzing the DNA of an organism, a total number of 5,386 nucleotides were found, out of which the proportion of different bases were adenine 29%, guanine 17%, cytosine 37%, and thymine is 17%. Considering Chargaff's rule, it can be concluded that A, it is double-stranded circular DNA, B, it is double-stranded linear DNA or linear, no conclusion can be drawn, and it is a single-stranded DNA. So, what should be the answer? That the percentages is giving you clue that it is not double helix. Yeah, it is not a double helix, isn't it? They are not equal. So, you know, according to Chargaff rule, the number of purines and pyrimidines should always be equal, isn't it? We said base pair rule, and Chargaff said the number should be same. I was talking about that, Chargaff's rule. So, since here different percentages are there, so it is not double helix. So, we can conclude that it must be a single-stranded DNA molecule. Okay, Prasad? Now, move to question number 40. Which of the following is a primary sex organ of a female? Yes, Sandeep. Rakesh Monti. Ovary. Without ovary, there is no, what we call, characteristic of a female. So, B, ovary is the primary sex organ. 41. MC is repeated at an average interval of how many days?
Yes.
20?
Yes.
29 days. In human female, as all of you know, MC is repeated at the interval of, we can say 28 to 29 days. But luckily 28 is not given, Prasad, there. That's why you come to 29 days. Okay? And this is menarche to menopause. So the menstrual cycle gets stopped during pregnancy, that you know. And question number 42. In population, unrestricted reproductive capacity is called unrestricted. What is it? It is not birth rate, biotic potential. Yes, biotic potential. And it is not carrying capacity, it is not fertility. So, biotic potential. And unrestricted reproductive capacity of a population is called biotic potential. Having coitus with opposite partners may lead to pregnancy and cause a number of problems to individual as well as society. Population doom will be because of that. And now our Kadkol's favorite, a cross between two tall plants resulted in offspring having few dwarf plants. What would be the genotype of both the parents? Yes, Kadkol? Genotype of both the parents. it has to be heterozygous, isn't it? Genotype has to be heterozygous. That means capital T, small t, capital T, small t. So when you put that Punnett square, you will come to know many will be there, offsprings. Okay? And question number 44, enzymes. Yes, please. But what is the question? He says, offsprings having few dwarf plants. Okay, put the checkerboard, capital T, small t. You get capital T, small t, and small t, small t. Yes, yes. I think option should be C. Correct? If you put the Punnett square.
Sir, but question in they told two tall plants, sir.
Few dwarf plants. See, two tall plants must be there, yes. A cross between two tall plants. So, naturally, Kadkol, you can't take C because one of the parents' genotype is small t, small t. So, there is a condition in the question. So, Prasad is right. It has to be A, capital T, small t, because of law of dominance. Presence of dominant gene, capital T, makes the plant tall. Correct, no? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now we move on to question number 44. Enzymes called dash add complementary nucleotides floating inside the nucleus. So DNA pepsin, DNA synthetase, lipoprotein lipase, DNA polymerase, all of us know that should be the answer. Because as the name suggests, yes, polymerase are enzymes that create DNA molecules by assembling many nucleotides, which are building blocks of DNA. These enzymes are essential for DNA replication and usually work in pairs to create two identical DNA strands from original DNA molecule, and it is found floating freely inside the nucleus. So it has to be answer D, option D, DNA polymerase. Now question number 45. Monozygotic twins are produced when there is no cleavage. Remember here the clue is there in the question, monozygotic. Okay, that means from the same zygote, single zygote. Single zygote should be single, right? So let us see the options. I think there is no cleavage, incomplete cleavage. Yeah, first cleavage of the zygote is followed by separation into two. That should be the answer. C. Okay? Because once the cleavage takes place, two parts are formed. Each part will develop into a new baby. So two parts, two babies, twins.
Sir, where will both get implanted, sir?
Both will be in the uterus only. Any baby, whether twins or mono, they are implanted in the zygote only. That's why we are called.
Are they genetically similar?
Yes, yes. Genetically similar. 99.9%. That is the reason why even the mother sometimes finds it very difficult to identify who is elder brother, who is younger brother, or who is elder sister, who is younger sister. Because remember, it is monozygotic. So it has to be brother, brother and sister, sister. Correct, no? If twins are formed from two zygotes, let us say, then there is a choice. Three alternatives are there, three probabilities are there. It can be brother, brother, it can be sister, sister, it can be brother and sister.
Monozygotic or identical twins?
Monozygotic is one. From one zygote, two babies. So they will be sharing the genome. Hence, very, very difficult for mother only to identify. Forget about us, isn't it? Next, 46. Which one is called the pregnancy hormone? Which one? First one only, no? Because when pregnancy starts, first hormone that is produced is progesterone, because it helps in maintaining pregnancy. And you know, I was talking about abortions, termination of the pregnancy. Sometimes the lack of progesterone will make the lady to lose the baby. Sudden abortion will take place. So progesterone is, that's why it is known as maintenance hormone, pregnancy maintenance hormone. Okay, that's very, very important. Then a number of nuclei participating in double fertilization. E.g. for Kadkol. How many? Kadkol? 5. Panchapandav. Yeah, double fertilization involves fusion of one male gamete with an egg during syngamy, and the fusion of two polar nuclei with other male gamete. So 3 plus 2, Panchapandav, double fertilization. Correct? Next, question 48. Identify the odd one from the following: Fimbriae, Infundibulum, Labia minora, Isthmus. Try to recollect the diagrams. Yeah. Each fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 centimeters long and extends from the periphery of each ovary to the uterus. The part closer to the ovary is the funnel-shaped infundibulum. The edges of the infundibulum possess finger-like projections called fimbriae, which help in the collection of ovum after ovulation. Infundibulum leads to wider part of the oviduct called ampulla. In the last part of the oviduct, isthmus has a narrow lumen and it joins the uterus. So the female external genitalia include all this. That means labia minora is the external part, rest are all tubes inside. Correct, no? That's why odd man out is labia minora. Right? Tomorrow's session we will talk about the diagram based questions. This you need to practice. You have to practice. That's why I was insisting you practice diagrams. Right? Let's see tomorrow. Take care. Bye. Tell me. Widest part of the fallopian tube. The fibria, no? The last one, that cup-shaped one. You have to see which is the alternative that he is giving. If he is giving both, and if there is option both, then you have to go for the both. Okay, Prasad? Yeah, right. Bye then, see you tomorrow.